music.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
We won't be out long.
Take your time. Track's all yours.
You ready? The name on the middle of that steering wheel should tell you that I was born ready. Hit it. Attaboy.
Let me drive. I will make a fool out of you.
I got a message for all of them. Shake and bake.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind?
That just happened.
These cars, you sit in a box, a coffin, gasoline all around you. It isn't like it being inside a bomb.
It's tough enough being a girl on the track. Living in my dad's shadow doesn't help much.
You have to be kind to the car. You feel the poor thing groaning underneath you.
No race was ever won in the first corner.
I'm gonna give you an engine, low to the ground, extra big oil pan will cut the wind from underneath you. That'll give you 30 to 40 more horsepower.
Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
Brakes are warm. Tires are warm.
I'll work in the cars and I'll drive and I'll eat and sleep and I'll work in the cars and I'll drive.
Damn fast, and when he runs so close together, it requires fantastic concentration and rather special skills.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
If you're going to push a piece of machinery to the limit and expect it to hold together, you have to have some sense of where that limit is.
Besides, the best drivers don't dwell on the future or the past. The best drivers focus only on the present.
They could never have imagined it, those pioneers who invented the automobile, that it would possess us like this in our imaginations, our dreams.
I'm gonna give you a fuel line that will hold an extra gallon of gas. I'm gonna shave half an inch off you and shape you like a bullet.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
Racing is in my blood.
I was put on this earth to race cars.
I accept every time I get in my car. There's 20% chance I could die, and I can live with it, but not 1% more.
No, Nicky, don't bring the percentages into this. Don't be a pro. The minute you do that, you kill what's good about this. You kill the sport.
And at that speed, your reactions can barely keep up with these sudden changes in direction.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up?
You want me to work the pit and you drive? Fine, we'll try that.
The car's a living, breathing thing, and she's alive.
If any of us imagined, really imagined, what it would be like to go into a tree at 150 miles an hour, we would probably never get into the cars at all. None of us.
Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
I am just as good as anybody out there on that track, and I don't need anybody to win my races for me.
I wish my daddy were alive to see this, to feel this.
And when we get you primed, painted, and weighed, you'll be ready to go out on that racetrack. You hear me? You're gonna be perfect.
You don't understand what happens, do you? They make 10,000 cars, they make them exactly the same way, and one or two of them turn out to be something special. Nobody knows why.
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
So it has always seemed to me that to do something very dangerous requires a certain absence of imagination.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
Soon you will know what it is like to be defeated by the hands of somebody who is truly better than you.
The only thing to do here is to drive just as fast as you know how and hope your car doesn't break.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
If you ain't first, you're last. There's 40 other vultures out there who managed to finish the race on their tires. You see Darrell Waltrip using up his tires?
There's nothing I can't do with a race car.
Oh, hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it? Come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
Sometimes you could swear the whole thing's falling to bits.
No pressure, nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
On the other hand, I suppose potential problems are in the back of your mind all the time.
So in many ways, I feel responsible for what happened. And
You were, but trust me, watching you win those races while I was fighting for my life, you were equally responsible for getting me back in the car.
You're so lucky. You sit there all closed in by machinery and bolts, precise things. There's hardly any room for you. It must be a nice, safe feeling.
You gotta learn to trust something. Might just as well be the seat of your pants.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing is important to men who do it well. And racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
Well, we can drive. We can drive beyond the limits of the tires, the engine, the car, anything else.
look out there. Out there is the perfect lap. No mistakes. Every gear change, every corner. Perfect. You see it.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
But it isn't just business, is it? What we do. It's passion, love, which is why we are prepared to risk our lives for it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up or shut up.
Why does everybody keep telling me what my problem is?
That you get so emotional.
You would never, ever say that to a guy.
If you don't leave your feelings off the track, you're never going to get what you want.
I'm a race driver, and I can win it on my own!
Please let me race.
Fine. Then let's race.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and once again, welcome back to the Grand Prix World Series. My name is Topher Smith, and today we are taking you through finals day for Season 3. 2 of the titles have already been decided across both leagues, and there are 2 still yet to be decided, and this is going to be an absolutely fascinating day of racing. 16 rounds have made up this championship this season, and we are set for one more thriller as we look to see who will round out the season as our champions. Starting off with League 2, as always, heading into this one, Marcus Ericsson holds a 3-point advantage over his Fonmetal teammate Pascal Wehrlein, 194 and 191 points respectively. If Ericsson and Wehrlein were to finish equal on points after today's race, Ericsson would win the title on countbacks. Of Wehrlein has to beat his teammate on track here today. Tatiana Calderon, an outside bet for the championship, is still holding a mathematical chance of making it happen. But Fonmetal, already having won the team's championship, will go up to League 1 next season along with MasterCard Lola, and the fight is on to see who will join them. As we look at the team standings, Fonmetal already champions, as mentioned, with Lola going up with them. And then for the final position in League 1 next season, Pacific Grand Prix, Force India, Dome, and Ram Racing. It is between those 4 teams for that coveted final spot. It's going to be so exciting to see who's going to take the top spot out of those 4 today and progress up to the big leagues with Fonmetal and MasterCard Lola for Season 4. But before we take you through the grid for today, just one driver change to make note of, and that is at the Pacific team. Kevin McMullen has taken a bit of a gamble with his drivers here. Alongside Brendan Hartley today will be Pietro Fittipaldi, who is replacing Sergio Sette Camara for the season finale at Laguna Seca. Fittipaldi hoping to put in a good performance today and help the team get the points that they need to secure their promotion up to League 1 next season. Well, every single point is so important, especially when it comes to finals day with the championship on the line. And with the pole position points up for grabs, it has gone the way of Pascal Wehrlein, who now cuts the lead down to 2 points between himself and Marcus Ericsson. It's going to be a straight dogfight between those 2 as to who will take the victory and the championship today. Raffaele Marcello and Jack Aitken, fantastic jobs by them in Force India to line up 3rd and 4th. Takuma Sato 5th in the Dome ahead of Pietro Fittipaldi, who will be making his debut for the team in 6th. Kimi Sato 7th in the 2nd Dome ahead of the Dams Viance of Mirko Bortolotti, with Jaime Alguersuari and Sam Bird rounding out the top 10. 11th will be Mike Conway in the Real, a fantastic performance by him, with Christian Lundgaard 12th in the Scuderia Coloni. Gary Paffett 13th in the Ram Racing. He will have wanted a better result than that to help Ram with their quest for promotion. Luciano Becchetta 14th in the Carlin, ahead of the 2 MasterCard Lolas. It's a really disappointing session for the championship contending team. Tatiana Calderon still mathematically able to win this championship, but will be 15th on the grid, ahead of teammate Mick Schumacher. Those 2 will be working their way up through the field to get every single point they can on the board, and Mick surely will be helping Tatiana to get the championship if it is at all possible. Fabio Lima 17th in the Carlin ahead of Brendan Hartley in the Pacific, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Alan McNish 19th and 20th in the Dams and the Ram Racing. Andre Lotterer and Jake Dennis 21st and 22nd in the Andrea Motors. 23rd, Lucas Di Grassi in the Zach Speed ahead of Callum Ilott, Dan Ticktum and Alexander Rossi starting from last, having picked up a back of the grid penalty last time out in San Carlos. Well, we don't want to keep you ladies and gentlemen waiting any longer. This is the final race for League 2 this season. The Drivers' Championship is on the line. Will it be Marcus Ericsson? Will it be Pascal Wehrlein? Or will Tatiana Calderon, against all the odds, come back to claim the Series 3 League 2 Championship? There's only one way to find out, and ready and waiting to take you through the action in the commentary box, it is Tom Cairns.
It all comes down to this. 3 drivers and only 1 League 2 driver's title up for grabs. Will it be Marcus Ericsson, Pascal Wehrlein or Tatiana Calderon coming away with the Drivers' Championship trophy for the division? The 5 red lights are coming on right now. When they go out, we'll be racing for the season finale at Laguna Seca. Lights out, and away we go. It's a good start from Wehrlein. How does Ericsson get on? He's got a way better as Ericsson, and he's into the lead before he even gets to the Andretti corner. So Ericsson takes the lead from his title rifle, Pascal Wehrlein, and Takuma Sato is up there in 3rd place for a moment, but it's Rafael Marciello who's in 3rd in the Force India ahead of his teammate Jet Aiken. So Ericsson leads, Wehrlein is 2nd, Marciello 3rd, Aiken 4th, and we've got a car off. It's Tatiana Calderon is out already! And she's been hit from behind by one of the Enduro motors. And it could not have gone to the worst start for team manager Marcus Johansson. Tatiana Calderon out of the race before the first proper corner of the racetrack. And that ends her championship hopes before it has even started. The fairy tale is over. The dream is over. Tatiana Calderon will not be the League 2 Drivers' Champion for Season 3. She's been on a poor run at late. Very, very unlucky in the last 2 rounds. It's all ended in a crash. And it's a disqualification for the Enduro motor of Jake Dennis. He's out of the non-championship race in Macau. And there's been another incident as they go through the corkscrew. And that looks like Luciano Becchetta has been hit by one of the Zaxby's. We need to take a good look at that as they head towards the corkscrew section. And was it? No, it was actually the Andrea Moda that nudged him off the track. I couldn't recognise who it was. I think that might have been Jake Dennis again. We'll have a look to see. We'll need to see an on-board angle of that. But Becchetta is back in the race still. No damage done to the Carlin. And in actual fact, he's been given a time penalty for an unsafe rejoin. So it's a bit of a chaotic start here in Laguna Seca. Becchetta with a 10-second time penalty already. And that pretty much sums up Carlin's season. So we're down to just 2 men in the race for the League 2 driver's cycle. Marcus Ericsson or Pascal Wehrlein. Whoever finishes in front, most likely it's going to be one of those 2 winning the race, will be the League 2 drivers champion for Season 3. At least team manager Ewan Gale knows that he will seal the double, both the drivers and the team's championships in League 2 for this season. The question is, which one of his 2 drivers are going to be crowned the champion? As we ride on board with Mick Schumacher, the only Marscardella left in the race now. They've got nothing left to be fighting for, except either a podium finish or a race win. Mick Schumacher is in the battle with Brendan Hartley for 4th place in the Drivers' Championship. If he was to finish in front of him, that would guarantee him 4th place in the Drivers' standings as they come around to complete the 2nd lap out 60 as Marcus Ericsson posts a new fast up of the race. Lucas Degrassi running wide at the penultimate turn of the circuit, and looks like he's been tagged there by one of the LaRussas. We'll get a look at that. He's at the back of the field is Degrassi, or towards the back. That is Callum Eilert coming through on the inside, and the 2 make contact. Does Eilert go through ahead of him? Well, he certainly nudged him out of the way, and that might give him the advantage. In fact, he's backed out of it and he's let his teammate go through, so I don't think the stewards will take any action to that. And I was right to believe that. The stewards aren't going to take any action. The 2 Formatals are 1st and 2nd as predicted. But like I say, whoever wins the championship is most likely who's going to finish ahead of the 2. It's going to come down to the pit strategies, you would have thought, but a long way to go yet in this one. And that's not the only significant business involved in Laguna Seca in League 2. Oh, there's more contact at the back. That look like Jaime Alguersuari and Sam Bird colliding at the corkscrew. Well, I can't even finish my sentence, given how chaotic this race has been so far. Alguersuari was behind Kimi Sato. Bird was up the inside, and the move was never going to work from Bird's point of view. He didn't gain an advantage by going past him or anything like that, so it'll probably be the same outcome as what it was with Degrassi and Eilert. No overreaction to that. Going back to what I was saying about the significant business involved in the League 2 Championship, there's one promotion spot up for grabs in the team's championship between Pacific, Force India, Dome and Ram. We just saw an overtake for Mick Schumacher on Gary Puffett. That's moved Schumacher up into 11th place. Fighting his way through the field is the young German. Pacific came into this 28 points clear over 4th place Force India. If one of the Force Indias drops out, that's them out of the run-in. If one of the Domes drop out, then that's them out of the run-in. And if one of the Rams drop out, that's them out of the run-in. And Pacific will automatically be promoted regardless of where Brendan Hartley and Sergio Sette Camara's replacement for this round, Pietro Fittipaldi, finish. Now, I have to say, well, I say Brendan Hartley is going for a spin at the corkscrew and is able to avoid getting hit by any of the drivers. We saw this last season in the League 1 race. And Hartley's lost his rear wing as he rejoins back onto the circuit. In fact, he's wrecked his car, and that's him out. Brendan Hartley out of the race in the Pacific. That's great news for Force India, Dome and Ram. Hartley, who tried to get back onto the circuit, came back on too hard as he went over the curb. And Brendan Hartley's hopes of finishing 4th place in the League 2 Drivers' Championship are dashed. The Kiwi is out. Mick Schumacher is confirmed as the driver who will finish 4th behind Ericsson, Verline and Calderon. Whilst Brendan Hartley is out, his Brazilian teammate Pietro Fittipaldi is running in a fine 6th place, and that would be more than enough to seal promotion to League 1. Given where the Force Indias are in 3rd and 4th places, that would give them 27 championship points, and that alone would not be enough. They would miss out by a point if Fittipaldi was to drop out, but Fittipaldi is running in 6th place, and that 6th place would cement Pacific's leap into League 1 along with Fomitel and Mastercard Lola. Now we watch Kimi Sato, who's running in 8th place behind the Dams Viant of Mirko Bortolotti, who's having another brilliant race. He's the Italian. Came in Brands Hatch as part of the overhaul within the team. Teo Porcher and Simona Di Silvestro were moved over onto the sidelines in favour of Bortolotti and Nelson Pico Jr. Well, lap number 6, Ericsson leads, and Verline over a second behind in P2. Then we've got Jack Aiken 3rd, ahead of Rafael Marcello in 4th, his teammate. Scoot Masato is 5th in the Dome. Pietro Fittipaldi is 6th for Pacific. Mirko Bortolotti is 7th for Dams Viant. Kimi Sato right on his tail in 8th place in the 2nd Dome. Jaime Alguersuari is 9th for Coloni, and in 10th place is the Zach Speed of Sam Bird. We just saw an attempt of an overtake there going into that left-hander, and it's not quite back. It's not quite gone the way. I think that might have been Christian Lungo trying to make a move on Gary Puffett. Didn't quite come off. What I was going to say is that Zach Speed are in the fight for a place on the grid in the non-championship race in Macau. They'll be in the fight with Super Aguri and Prost for that final place on the grid in a week or two's time. Alan McNish in P1. Not P1, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself there. He's in P15, it's Alan McNish. Both of the Rams outside the points at the moment. Came into this 39 points behind Pacific, with now only 44 left on the table, given that the Fomitels have bagged pole position, and it's likely they'll keep hold of the fastest up as well. So the Rams really need to finish 1 and 2 to have any chance of snatching promotion from Pacific. 2 retirements so far. Brendan Hartley and Tatiana Calderon both out of the race. through accidents. There's Ericsson going through the Andretti hairpin ahead of Verline, who's just doing his best to keep up with him. It's going to come down to the pit stops. Whoever pits first will surely have the advantage on the fresher tyres, providing they don't come out in traffic. As we look at Mick Schumacher, who's running in 11th place behind Sam Bird. Sam Bird has had a better time with it in this one so far. You see Jack Aitken running in 3rd place. The question is, he will be on the 1 stop and he will be on the 2. Answers on a postcard. You don't lose that much time in the pits. For goodness sake, Scott Dixon demonstrated that when he had to make 3 pit stops during the race. And he came back to finish 2nd to seal his first Grand Prix World Series title. You see the carlings there of Lima and Paqueta. We just hope for the season to end sooner rather than later. It really has been a difficult season for Perry Brown's team. Not a lot has been going their way in the second half of the season. Looking at their form as well for Carly, they haven't scored since round 7 in Misano. The reliability record has been okay, but it just hasn't been good enough from their point of view. They're going to have to be hoping for more next season if they're going to mount a challenge for promotion. The League 1 race will be coming up later today. The Teams Championship is still mathematically alive between Minardi and Simtek. There's also the relegation places to be decided. It looks like it's going to be AGS Midland and Forza going down, with the way things have been going as far as their season's concerned, as Dan Tipton attempts to get through on Callum Ilott, but to no avail. We're on lap 10, and we're not too far away from pit stops. Ericsson and Verline. What are they going to be doing? If Verline's going to win the championship, then surely he has to try something different to what his teammate will be doing. There's Ericsson in P1. From Mattel, who have won 8 races this season. Ericsson's won 5 of those. And we see a problem for the remaining Mascot Lola of Mick Schumacher. And he is out of the race, and Mascot Lola's season has ended with both of their drivers on the sidelines. But at least we can say that they will be a League 1 team next season. Well, I don't think they expected to end the season like that, following a ram running into Mick Schumacher. And that's Gary Puffett. Well, it's not Gary Puffett, sorry. It was his teammate Alan McNish that ran into Mick Schumacher. And you could argue that Mick Schumacher should have gone off sooner. McNish is into the pits for a new front wing, and that pretty much spells Ram's hopes of sealing promotion this season. Taking another look from McNish's point of view. Comes round. You could argue that Schumacher should never have been on the line there, with McNish coming through, and that's resulted in McNish coming into the pits. Now, what will this mean for Mick Schumacher? Well, he's out of the race, we know of that, but what will the verdict be from the steward's point of view? If Mick Schumacher gets disqualified from, or get a race ban for causing that incident, he'll be out of the non-championship race in Macau, but I doubt that will be the case. It's the opposite to that. It's Alan McNish who's going to be disqualified from the race, and he's also been given a 1 race ban. He'll be out in competing in the non-championship race in Macau. in the Drivers' Championship, we know Calderon is not going to be winning it. With the positions as they are, Ericsson will be crowned champion by 10 points over Pascal Wehrlein. In the Teams Championship, with the final promotion spot up for grabs, Pacific are doing all they need to do. Even if Pietro Fittipaldi was to drop out now, they'll still go up by a single point over 4th place Force India. Dome and Ram will be well and truly out of it. Dome are having a good race so far, but they've left their good form of which they had earlier in the season too late, and now they are in need of a miracle to have any chance. The best way for them to hope now is if the Fonmatels were to run into trouble. Now, the last time a Mascot Lola or a Fonmatel did not win, well, the sentence should be the last time a team other than Mascot Lola and Fonmatel had won in League 2. You have to go all the way back to Fuji to find Kamir Sato winning on home turf for Dome. The last 11 rounds have been won by either of the top 2 teams. Well, 2 of those cards are out already now. They are the Mascot Lolas. The Fonmatels are still going in first and second. There is Pietro Fittipaldi in the sole surviving Pacific, running in a brilliant 6th place ahead of Bortolotti, Kamir Sato, August Soare and Sam Bird. The Fonmatels doing all they need to do. They've already got the Teams Championship wrapped up, which they did so in San Carlos. Should they get maximum points out of this, they'll continue to break the record for the most number of points scored in the Grand Prix World Series season by one team. They'll move on to 430 points, which is outstanding. Jack Aiken running in 3rd place as we watch Gary Puffett, who's in a very mixed race so far. He's got Mike Conway right behind. Conway having a fairly good race so far. He qualified well but dropped back at the start. And now we see contact between Lima there, and who ran into him? Was that his teammate who ran into Lima? We didn't see what had actually been going on. I don't think we're going to get a replay of that. Niketa didn't get through anyway, so it's as you were before the contact was made between the two. And there's Ericsson and Wehrlein. Wehrlein is 13 seconds clear of Jack Aiken. Now we see Lima go for an off, and is that him on the sidelines? It looks like the wheel is off, and Lima's race is over, and so is his season. And we watch the replay of him locking up and running wide over the curb, and there goes the Carlin. The engine switched off, one of the rear wheels has come off, and that is one of the Carlins gone from this race. And Fabio Lima's first season in the Grand Prix World Series is going to end in a crash, and that's him craned away by the marshals. We'll have to hope for season 4 that will turn out better for him. And that's if he ends up getting a drive by any of the teams, really. It's Jack Aiken running in 3rd place for Force India. They need to score at least 29 points in this race, or at the very minimum 28, to have any chance of snatching the final promotion spot from Pacific. Jack Aiken has finished on the podium on 2 occasions this season, in Fuji and Istanbul. Desperately need another one now. We're on course to achieve that with Jet Aiken. 3rd and 4th alone not be enough. And we've got a pit stop at Fonmetal, and it's the race leader Marcus Ericsson coming in at the end of lap 15. Verline takes over. How long will it be before he decides to pit in? Jack Aiken also heading in the Force India. So it looks like Marcus Ericsson could get out in some clean air here, and he's going to do so. Ericsson is out ahead of Marcello in second place. And he could not have wished for a better return to the circuit than what he's got there. Verline has to get on with it now. Now we see Gary Puffett as Jack Aiken comes out of the pits on his fresh set of boots. How quickly will he get by the ramp? Now we see a lock up there for Nelson Piquet, who almost runs wide but remains on the tarmac. Nelson Piquet Jr. has yet to score a point since his return to the Grand Prix World Series in Brands Hatch. Dams Fayant, who have been on a good run of form of late, thanks to Mirko Bortolotti. They are ahead of Carlin in the team's championship in the battle for 11th. It's unlikely that Carlin will be scoring points today. Mirko Bortolotti running in 6th place on track. And we see Alguersuari heading for the pits in the Coloni, aiming to end his season on a high as well. And Mike Conway is also in for Riel. It's a busy pit lane right now. And Jet Aiken is ahead of Gary Puffett into 8th place on circuit. He's behind Kamir Sato, who's another 9 seconds up the road from him, so Aiken can get the hammer down and start doing all he can to give the Fonmetal something to worry about later on. And we see Pascal Verline coming into the pits at the end of lap 17. His teammate Marcus Ericsson will go back into the lead. Verline will be on slightly fresher tyres than his Swedish teammate. So both of them are going to be on the 2-stop strategy. Bortolotti in the pits for Dams Fayant. Verline comes out in 2nd place behind his teammate. He says he's 1.1 seconds behind, but that's just because he's crossed over the line whilst he was in the pit lane, so the gap will be bigger than that. In fact, the gap is 4 seconds, and that's the difference in making an undercut. I think that's what Verline needs. He needs to try and perform an undercut on his teammate if he's to have any chance of getting back into the lead of the race, and more importantly, on course to be the League 2 Drivers' Champion. It's Verline, his fresh set of boots, 4.5 seconds behind. Highlight coming in 15th. It's just been overtaken by Christian Lundgaard. And Sato in the dome coming in from 4th place, as is Pietro Fittipaldi. And we're right on board with Rafael Marcello, who remains out there. Is he going to be one of those doing the 1-stop? Coming in, as is Nelson Piquet Jr. There we see Pascal Verline running in 2nd place. The only way he can win the championship is getting ahead of Marcus Ericsson. They have to hope for some mechanical gremlins from the Swede to go his way. So Got a move there in the background. That looks like Mike Conway getting through on Callum Ilott for 14th. And now it looks like Mike Conway's trying to make a move on Christian Lundgaard heading into the corkscrew. Cut away from it. Conway's not quite through on Lundgaard just yet. Will be coming up to back markers very soon. It's no wonder their pace is so blistering. Ilott in the pits for LaRousse. Marcello running in third position. Some clean air, no one to be fighting with right now. Here's an update on the standings. Marcus Ericsson will be crowned champion by 10 points over Pascal Wehrlein if the positions are to remain as they are. Drayton's getting through on Alan McNish. In the battle for the final promotion spot, Pacific will be going up with Von Mattel and Mars Cardela. If they hold off Force India, Dome and Ram, as it stands they are 11 points clear with the positions as they are. But more and more pit stops are happening as Kamir Salso heads for the pits, which releases Jack Aiken. Looking at Sam Bird, who's running in 8th place. And bad news for the Downs Viant team. Mirko Bortolotti, who was running so well, has had to pull off with a rear suspension failure. And Downs Viant sees one of the cars go out. Nelson Piquet Jr. is still in the race, albeit outside the top 15 after he's just made his pit stop. Bortolotti can look back on this season in a positive way after his brilliant performances in a car that's not the most competitive in the field. It's the 5th driver to retire, along with Fabio Lima, Mick Schumacher, Brendan Hartley and Tatiana Calderon. I can tell you that Wehrlein's got the gap down to 3.4 seconds. He's coming alive a little bit now, is the German. I don't know if he's had to get through back markers, but either way, he's got the gap down a little bit. Now we're looking at the battle for 11th place between Lucas Di Grassi and Mike Conway. And Real, who are on 12 points, bottom of the team's championship. They want to end their season with at least one of the cars in the points, if possible. I can say that Wehrlein has dropped back. He must have got held up in traffic whilst on this lap, and that could explain why he got the gap down on Ericsson a moment ago. Now we look at the Italian Raffaele Marcello, who had recently announced that he and his partner are going to be welcoming a new child, so congratulations to them. Look at Kamir Sato running in 9th position as he heads towards the line. Behind Sato is the Dane Christian Lundgaard. Riding the curb a little bit on the exit of turn 2. Ahead of him is Sam Bird in the sack speed. Pascal Wehrlein was to drop out of this race. That gives Ericsson the driver's title no matter what. If Ericsson was to pull out, Wehrlein only needs to finish 8th or higher to be crowned the Drivers' Champion in League 2. And you see Andre Lotterer behind the LaRousse. There's Jake Dennis, who He's already been in trouble today. Marcello running in third. In the Force India. Ahead of Jack Aiken, who's pitted. Marcello hasn't yet. As we watch Camille Sato, who's running in 9th position in the Dome. Behind Jaime Alguersuari. 2 Colonis in the top 10 so far. After what's been a turbulent season for the team. But both of their drivers are running in the top 10. They'll be under new management next season. Now we watch Rossi looking ahead on Gary Paffett, who gets through on Lucas Di Grassi for 12th. Mike Conway got ahead of Di Grassi a few laps ago and he's pulling away from them. This is Verline, who's still chasing Ericsson. The gap is 3.8 seconds. Ilott and Tipton are both lapped. The next driver to be lapped is Alan McNish in the Ram racing car. And Bird locks up into turn 2, the Andretti hairpin, but he stays on the circuit ahead of Alguersuari. Will we see either of these two on the grid next season? There will be 2 leagues again with 26 teams. Watch Rafael Marcello, who's coming around to complete his 25th lap. So one of the Android motors get through on Alexander Rossi, I think it was Andre Lotto getting through on him. And Jake Dennis is trying to do the same. He's got Luciano Piquetta right behind, as well as Nelson Piquet Jr. Look at Callum Ibott through the corkscrew. This is going to be a tricky one for the leaders because the gap is going to change with the back markers getting in the way potentially. This could be Verline's opportunity to close down the gap, hit him first, and complete the undercut on his teammate. And that could decide the Drivers' Championship. Will Power took the lead to Drivers' Championship last season in Lake House's promotion campaign. At the moment, it's going Marcus Ericsson's way, but it's not over yet. Now we'll look at Jake Dennis, who's got Luciano Piquetta right behind, going on lap 27. Verline and Pito doing all he needs to do. He's closing down the gap. Now we look at Ericsson, who locks up into the last turn, and that's going to give Verline the encouragement. The gap will be down to 1.6 seconds now. Verline should get through on the ram of Alan McNish very shortly, as Ericsson goes after the back markers ahead of him. First of those being Nelson Piquet Jr. So Verline gets through no problem. It didn't look like he got held up too much there. It's 1.8 seconds, but Ericsson's going to be coming up behind back markers. There's no way he's going to be able to maintain the gap. So this is Verline's golden opportunity to even pass him on circuit. Corkscrew they come. See, Ericsson is behind Piquetta. He's got through on Nelson Piquet Jr. Now he's trying to get through on Luciano Piquetta. It's a lap. Keto is not making it easy for him at the moment. And this should be Ericsson's chance to get through. As is Verline on Nelson Piquet Jr. here. And Verline also gets through on the Carlin. Ericsson is through on the Roos. So the Andrea Moda of Jake Dennis. And Alexander Rossi is now being lapped. And in fact, Ericsson's got a problem. He has! He's out! Ericsson's pulled off! I don't believe it! Marcus Ericsson got through on the back markers, safe and sound, accounted the problem, whilst he got through on Alexander Rossi. What a shock and twist in the Drivers' Championship race. Marcus Ericsson is out on lap 29. And all Pascal Wehrlein needs to do now is to finish in the top 8, and the Drivers' Championship is his. And we've got another retirement as well. Takuma Sato is out of the race in the Dome, and that ends their hopes of promotion this season. There is the Japanese pulling off with a problem. And it looks like one of the LaRousse, I think, is going at a really poor pace as well. We may come to that in a moment. But Marcus Ericsson out of the race in the Formatal. He's got to hope that trouble hits his teammate Pascal Wehrlein if he is to be coming away with the Drivers' Championship trophy today. Up into second place goes Rafael Marciello, and third is Jack Aiken. Now, at the moment, they will be collecting 33 championship points, but with Pietro Fittipaldi in 4th place in the Pacific, that will not be enough for Force India to go up. With both of the Rams virtually out of the points, Gary Puffer going up into 10th place in the Ram, which is going to be far from enough to see them go up. He's pretty much now between Force India and Pacific to join Von Mattel and Marsco Lola in League One next season. If Wehrlein encounters a problem himself, that's going to change things a lot. Coming up to half race distance, Wehrlein in the race lead. If he remains there, he will be the League 2 Drivers' Champion for Season 3. In terms of the race for promotion, Pacific will be going up. See Kalamai running in 17th place. We've got 19 drivers left in the race now. Alexander Rossi has dropped all the way down to 19th position. I wonder if he encountered a problem, did the home hero. At least he's still in the race. And there's confirmation. Calderon will finish 3rd no matter what. It all comes down to whether Pascal Wehrlein can just make it to the end of the race now. He does not need to win this. All he needs is an 8th place finish, and the Drivers' Championship is his. Pacific will be going up with them as well. They are 7 points clear of Force India as it stands. Dome are out of it. And Ram, despite both of their cars still in the race, they're pretty much out of the running as well. So it's down to just 2 teams who will join Von Mattel and Moscow Layla in League 1 next season. All of the drama has promoted Mike Conway, who has not had a lot to celebrate this season. Neither have Real. He's running in a brilliant 9th place behind Christian Lundgaard, and he's going at some pace, is the Brit. Pietro Fittipaldi doing all he needs to do for Pacific. If he drops out of it, that gives Force India the advantage, but both Force India cars have to finish the race. In fact, one of them has to be in the top 3 at least. In fact, both of them really need to be in the top 3 if they have any chance of going up. So it's very much in Pacific's hands, with Fittipaldi running it in a brilliant 4th place. Substituting for Sergio Sette Camera. And boy, is he making the most of it. Will that put him in the fray for a drive full-time next season? Sam Bird 5th for Saxby. That'll be important for them. Could they do with a result? And that'll help their chances of being on the grid for the non-championship race in Macau. Looking at their total going into this, they've only scored 2 points in the last 8 races of Mike Smith's team. A 5th place finish for Sam Bird would move them on to 97 points and make it increasingly difficult for Super Aguri and Prost to overhaul them in the League 1 race later today. .22 seconds is the gap between Verline and Marcello. If Verline came into the pits now for a stop, he should get out ahead of Marcello. Verline is the only driver out of the top 2 teams left in the race now. What a result this would be for Ed Spencer to see 2 Force Indias in the top 3. It would be a shame for him if it didn't mean ceiling promotion. Will it be Kevin McMullen or Ed Spencer jumping up and down in the garage with a place in League 1 for Season 4? Verline putting in P1. Needs to make no mistakes from here. This is it. If he encounters mechanical trouble, that is that. I wonder if he's trying to go for a fast lap or something. He doesn't need to. He's in the race lead. He's a whole minute clear of 8th place Christian Lundgaard, or even Mike Conway in 9th. Over a minute behind. Even if Verline dropped all the way down to 8th, it would still be enough for him to be crowned the League 2 Drivers' Champion. He'll want to do it with a race win, that's for sure. We saw Gary Patrick there, letting the Von Mattel go. And Alan McNish, will be disqualified from the race for taking out Mick Schumacher. Ram Racing team manager Ross McGregor may have a say on that. He has the right to appeal it if he wants to. Won't have anything to lose, really. Back to Verline in P1 as Rafael Marcello comes in for his first stop of the race as Aiken pulls off the circuit, goes off the circuit in the Force India. Now is he having to wait for the cars to go through? He lets the LaRue go through there. Jet Aiken's a very lucky boy. That could have been Force India out of it right there and then. Marcello's rejoining the race now. He's a lot closer to Jet Aiken than you would have thought. Now we see Dennis getting through, or defending from Luciano Piquetta for 13th. Marcello, who's rejoined ahead of Pietro Fittipaldi, and that's crucial. Fittipaldi does not need to risk anything with the position that he is in. The race for the final promotion spot is up for grabs now. They make their way through the corkscrew, the 3rd and 4th place drivers. Right on board with Aiken. Phil Marcello has yet to achieve a podium finish in his Grand Prix World Series career. If Verline was to drop out of this race, then that could change things. Salto, Sam Bird and Jaime Alguersuari are all in the pits. That moves Mike Conway up to 6th place behind Lundgaard. Now, if Pacific and Force India were to tie on points, with the one race win that Pacific had, thanks to Brendan Hartley and Sepang, they will be the ones going up on countback. However, if Force India were to win the race and get a second place finish, providing that Pietro Fittipaldi was to finish third, that would also see Pacific and Force India tie on points. The thing is, Pacific and Force India would have a win each. They would have 2 second places each. And Force India and Pacific would have... Is that a problem with the Verline? It is, you know! And that's it! The League 2 Drivers' Championship has been decided! Pascal Verline with mechanical gremlins is out of the race! And we see an incident at the back involving Gary Paffett and one of the Colonies. But the biggest drama is with Pascal Verline, who has pulled off from a mechanical problem. He retires from the League 2 Laguna Seca Grand Prix, and Marcus Ericsson is the League 2 Drivers' Champion of Season 3 through the unlikeliest of circumstances. For the first time since the Fuji Grand Prix, neither Mascot Lola or Fomitel are going to be coming away as race victors. But I want to look at the incident involving Gary Paffett and the Colony of Jaime Alguersuari, because Alguersuari got taken out by the Ram who went off the track. And that will be Gary Paffett disqualified from the race and banned from the Macau Grand Prix non-championship race. So that's both McNish and Paffett out of it. What an unbelievable development! You couldn't have written it. That not only has settled the Drivers' Championship, but it also very much opens up in the final place for promotion to League 1 next season between Pacific and Force India. If the positions were to remain as they are, well, to be fair, Fittipaldi's coming into the pits, as is Conway. But if Fittipaldi was to come away with a third place finish behind the 2 Force Indias, providing that neither of them gets the fastest lap, it's likely that Marcus Ericsson will keep hold of that now. They'll be tied on points. They'll have the same number of wins, the same number of second places, the same number of thirds. I'm just looking at how many 4th places Pacific and Force India have got, because that could be what decides it. It's Pacific who have got more 4th place finishes than Force India at the moment. So Force India, despite both their cars running first and second, they have to get another championship point. They need that fastest lap point to be taken away from Marcus Ericsson in order to go their way. Either Aiken or Marcello need to get that. And there's Fittipaldi who goes off the circuit for Pacific. Now, does he get back onto the track? Because if he doesn't, that puts Force India in the driving seat for that final promotion spot. And even if he does get back onto the circuit, he needs to get back into that final podium position. Otherwise, Pacific will be staying in League 2 next season. Now, he's trying to get out of it. He's behind Sam Bird. He's behind Kamiya Sato. He's behind Christian Lundgaard now. This is costing Fittipaldi and team manager Kevin McMullen dear here. We've seen a couple of cars going into the pits. Fittipaldi needs to get back in the race now. Oilot in the pits for LaRousse. I think it was Dan Tixter coming into the pits in the Real. My goodness me. So much has happened in this race. You couldn't have written it. Fittipaldi almost doing what Brendan Hartley did at the corkscrew earlier on in the event. He cannot afford that now. He's back in the race, but he's a long way down the order. He's outside the top 15 as Fittipaldi now, so Pacific's only hope is for one of the Force Indians to hit trouble. If either Marciello or Jet Aiken drop out of this, then Pacific will be going up to League One next season. It's going to come down to the last lap, isn't it? It's all going to come down to where Fittipaldi ends up. If he goes back up into third place, providing neither of the Force Indians get the fastest lap, that'll be Pacific going up. If he doesn't, then that seals it for Force India, unless anything happens to Marciello and Aiken in the closing stages of this race. Now, Jet Aiken has been in for a pit stop. He's 19 seconds behind his teammate Rafael Marciello. Force India have never won in the Grand Prix World Series. What a day to change it. And with the Drivers' Championship as it is, Marcus Ericsson is crowned the Grand Prix World Series Season 3 Lead 2 Drivers' Champion, with Pascal Wehrlein second and Tatiana Calderon in third. And in the race for promotion, Force India will be leapfrogging Pacific. They'll be ahead by 15 points. Dome and Ram are both out of it now. It's down to just 2 teams. I wonder how many fingernails both Ed Spencer and Kevin McMullen have got left right now. Sam Bird in third place. His best race in a long time. I think the last time I saw him that high in a Grand Prix World Series race, you have to go, I think, all the way back to the Sepang Grand Prix in Season 2. And that was a very long time ago. He's been on the sidelines a lot this season, has Bird. Been in trouble with the contact he had with Dan Tixom in Curitiba, which put him out of the San Carlos round, but he's bounced back in a brilliant way. Behind Sam Bird is Kamiya Sato in 4th position. Lundgaard 5th, Conway 6th, Degrassi, Paffett, who will be disqualified for the race for taking out Jaime Alguersuari. That will promote Andre Lotterer up to 8th, Nelson Piquet Jr. to 9th, and Jake Dennis, who will be taking a 10-second time penalty for the contact with Tatiana Calderon on the opening lap. I think he's disqualified actually, because he was the one that took out Calderon at the start. So he's another one who will be excluded from this one, which will promote Luciano Piquetta up into the final points paying position in the Carlin. You just see there an Andrea Moda tussling. I think that was Jake Dennis just been overtaken by Luciano Piquetta, or at least he was battling with him. Dennis remains in front of Piquetta, but it's hardly relevant because Paffett, Dennis and McNish will be excluded from the race result for taking out other drivers. And we see Marcello who's just putting a lap on Alan McNish. It's been a day to forget for Ram. In contrast, Force India having pretty much the day of dreams. The race of their lives. And we look at Jet Aiken, who's trying to catch up to his teammate after that error he made into the last corner. But Ed Spencer won't be too fussed about which driver wins the race. He wants to see both drivers finishing first and second now. Pietro Fittipaldi has to get back into the top 3 unless trouble hits either of the Force India drivers. Zach Speed on course for a podium, which will pretty much cement their place on the grid in the non-championship race in Macau, unless something astonishing happens involving either Super Aguri or Prost in the League 1 race later. What a dramatic race. What a race. And we've still got 17 laps to go. Martial leads by 17 seconds over Jet Aiken. Sam Bird, who's another 17 seconds behind, is in third place for Zach Speed. Kamiya Sato 4th. Christian Lundgaard 5th. As we watch Gary Paffett, who's tussling with Lucas Di Grassi, and it looks like Andre Lotto is trying to get through on him, and they almost make contact, but thankfully they don't. There's Jack Aiken running in second position as well. Times in the garages at Pacific and Force India. Now Force India, I don't think have been in the top 3 in the team's championship all season. It's been pretty much Fomital, Moscod, Lola and Pacific who have been there for the vast majority. I don't think Force India have been in the top 3 the whole time. On a day where it matters. Now Kevin McMullen's team, Pacific, have been in the top 3 all season. And what a disaster it would be for them to miss out on all days like this. Brendan Hartley going out early on. Pietro Fittipaldi falling so far down the field off that spin at the penultimate turn. He's got with it all to do. It's down to whether Force India's reliability remains intact. That is what it's going to come down to. And Marcello comes up to lap the Carlin of Luciano Piquetta. Marcello going to get through. Oh, Marcello runs a bit too deep and thankfully stays on the track. That very nearly ended in tears there for Ed Spencer, the team manager of the Force India squad. The gap was 15 seconds between Marcello and Aiken. I wonder what the gap will be now. Marcello's got 14 laps to go at the end of this one. The gap is just under 15 seconds between himself and Aiken. Now, Rafael Marcello competing in what will be his 11th Grand Prix World Series race. He's been on a good run of form of late. Good decision from team manager Ed Spencer to put him in the first place. Replacing Jerome D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio has played his part in Force India's quest this season as well, most recently in San Carlos when he substituted for the suspended Jack Aiken. So he'll be in the garage with his hands on his cheeks right now, just praying for the race to finish. Marcello in the race lead, trying to make his way through back markers. This is Jake Dennis, which is trying to lap. Jack Aiken is trying to lap Pietro Fittipaldi. There is Dennis staying out of the way of Marcello. Between Marcello and Aiken now as they cross over the line, and it looks like Fittipaldi has hit trouble in the Pacific. Will want to go to him in a moment, unless he was just staying out of the way of Marcello for a moment, Jack Aiken for a moment. Lap 48. Gary Paffett will be excluded from the race result for taking out Jaime Alguersuari. Alan McNish will be excluded for taking out Mick Schumacher. And Jake Dennis will be excluded for taking out Tatiana Calderon. just see Nelson Piquet Jr. being lapped by Rafael Marciello, the race leader. And I have to say, Mike Conway is on course for his and Riel's best result of the season, as Aiken gets through on the LaRousse there, and there was contact between him and Fittipaldi. That was probably accidental, to be honest with you. Very lucky to keep going. I'll see who's running ahead of Fittipaldi, sorry. Running in 16th and 17th. There's Bird running in 3rd place ahead of Camille Sarto. And Andre Lotterer, who's not had a lot to celebrate this season, he picked up a podium in Sensal. And we see Aiken once again. He's not really closing down the gap, but team manager Ed Spencer won't be too bothered about that. Just want to see both his cars make it home. Answers on the postcard as to who your driver of the day would be. Would it be Rafael Marciello, Jack Aiken? Would it be Mike Conway? What a performance he has done today in the Real, who have struggled all season. Sam Bird as well in the Sat Speed, let's not forget him. Christian Lundgaard's done a fine job as well. Andre Lotterer, Nelson Piquet Jr., who hasn't scored since his return to the grid. Jack Aiken in 2nd place. Just needing to keep his car on the circuit. Just to mention as well, Luciano Piquetto, I think, picked up a penalty for an unsafe rejoin, hence why he'll be dropping down the order. As we see an update on the Drivers' Championship, Marcus Ericsson is crowned champion, with Verline and Calderon both out of the race, as well as him. And it'll be the first time since Fuji that neither Von Mattel or Mars Leather are going to be coming away with the victory. Force India will be going up with both of those teams if they remain as they are. But if one of them drops out of it now, Pacific will be going up instead. Making his way through on Ticton. Piquetta is behind Dennis in the battle for P11 on circuit. We watch McNish, who's still in the race but will be excluded for his part in the incident with Mick Schumacher. Nine laps remaining. Show's gap over Aiken is 15 seconds. Lotterer is about to be overtaken by Marciello to be lapped. Not long left to go now. We need to for this season. We've obviously still got the non-championship race to come, but in terms of the grand scheme of things with League 2, just to let you know, the top 13 highest scoring teams across the two leagues will take part in the non-championship race in Macau. Saxby are doing their best with Sam Bird in 3rd place and Lucas Di Grassi in 7th. Which will be the team's biggest haul of points in a long time. Nelson Piquet Jr. running wide at the last turn, but keeping his car on the circuit. Don't think he's lost any positions there. Oh yeah, he has done. Piquetta's got through on the Brazilian. Piquetta gets through, but Piquetta still has that time penalty to serve. You'll see him drop behind Nelson Piquet Jr. Now a battle for the final podium spot is up for grabs with Kamir Sato right behind Sam Bird. How will it play out here? Will they keep it clean? The move is not going to be done into the Andretti hairpin. So Sato will hold back for now. Only the top 6 will finish on the lead. Degrassi's just been lapped by Marcello. Here's your race leader. Trying to make his way through on the LaRousse. Doing his best to keep the car on the circuit as well. Fittipaldi's outside the top 15 still at the moment. That spin could really cost Pacific dearly now. There's no way they're going to be back in the top 3 by the end of this race. If Marcello was to come into the pits for a problem, he would get out in second place. If Jet Aiken was to encounter a problem, he'll probably keep hold of second place himself. Aiken a bit too deep. Turn number 4 is able to maintain his place on the tarmac. Sato's right behind Bird in the battle for 3rd position as we watch Marcello come through the last turn. And he's now 6 laps away from his first Grand Prix World Series victory. Providing that neither him or Aiken encounter any issues, they will be celebrating promotion. And what a way to do it as well. Mattel starts the season with a double non-finish. They'll be ending the season with a double non-finish. Despite going up as teams champions and with a record number of points scored in the Grand Prix World Series season by one team, 387 points that have accumulated as it stands. Ericsson still holds the fast lap point at the moment. Aiken. For the penultimate turn. No such problems right now. Fittipaldi is through into 15th position. In the Pacific. It's going to be a little consolation. Look at the Force India. The gap is increasing as Marcello continues to pull away. And Fittipaldi is looking to end his race on a high. Drove in last minute to replace Sergio Sette Camera. It looks like he's not going to be celebrating promotion with the team. Fittipaldi cannot find a way through on Callum Ilott. And there he is, Marcello, only 4 laps away. One moment this will be for Force India, their first win, their first 1-2, Marcello's first win. Let's top it all off, promotion. And all those left in the race, apart from those that are going to be disqualified, are going to be classified as finishers. Now that they've completed 90% of the race distance. And Alan McNish's day is going to end off the circuit. And he retires from 13th position. And thankfully doesn't take out the Force India there. That would have been very, very momentous and disastrous there for team manager Ed Spencer. But McNish's season is going to end over the barrier, and he is out of the non-championship race in Macau with that ban hanging over him. It is subject to appeal, but I doubt it's going to be overturned. That moves Fittipaldi up to 14th place now, behind Ilott. Now we see Alexander Rossi running in 16th after needing to make an extra pit stop in the race. He's not going to be coming away with any points. Three laps to go then. Rafael Marcello still leading. Force India doing all they need to do. Von Mattel have tasted 1-2 finishes on a couple of occasions this campaign in Valencia and Curitiba. Mascot Lola have done exactly the same in Hockenheim. And now Force India are about to become the third team in League 2 to get a 1-2 finish. We just saw Fittipaldi get through on Ilott there, and that's seen Ilott fall back into the clutches of Dan Tickton. Now we look at Sam Bird, who's under threat from Kamir Sato for the final podium position. 2 laps remaining then for race leader Rafael Marcello. He's got no more back markers to be getting through. Waiting for that all-important checker flag to be coming out. There is Jack Aiken in second place. It'll be his third podium finish of the campaign. And looking at where he could potentially finish, he'll finish 6th in the Drivers' Championship, will Aiken. For Marcello, we'll move on to 61 points. We'll go in front of Degrassi, Sato, Manish, Alguersuari and Lotterer into the top 10. What a way to finish the season. Just a point behind Alexander Rossi. And Marcello locks up at the Andretti hairpin on the last lap, but luckily remains on the circuit. They'll have given team manager Ed Spencer one final scare. What a race this has been today. You could not have imagined it. Force India were 28 points behind third place Pacific coming into this last round. It would have taken them a miracle for them to overhaul Pacific. But do you know what? Miracles do actually happen. Miracles are possible in the Grand Prix World Series. Force India knew they still had some form of chance to snatch it from Pacific's nose, to go up with Von Mattel and Mascot Lola into League 1. Rafael Marcello enters the last turn for the last time. And Force India are going to celebrate for the first time in the Grand Prix World Series a race win. Rafael Marcello wins the League 2 Laguna Seca Grand Prix, his first race win in the Grand Prix World Series. Jack Aiken, his teammate, is going to come home in second place, I believe. He is doing so. It's a 1-2 finish for Force India, and with that, they are going up with Von Mattel and Mascot Lola. They have done it. Team manager Ed Spencer can celebrate in the garages. The bottom 2 teams of last season in League 2 are going up to League 1 next season. Incredible! You could not have written it. Sam Bird takes the final podium position in third place. It's a race win for Rafael Marcello. And congratulations to Marcus Ericsson, who is the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix World Series. Jet Aiken second, running off a 1-2 finish for Force India, and they will be going up to League One next season. Sam Bird third for Saxby, Kimi Sato fourth, Christian Lundgaard fifth, Mike Conway in a brilliant sixth place for Real, Lucas Di Grassi seventh for Andre Lotterer, Nelson Piquet Jr. and Luciano Piquetta taking the final point. Petro Fittipaldi in 11th for Pacific, ahead of Callum Ilott, Dan Tixon and Alexander Rossi with the rest of the finishers. Pascal Wehrlein retiring with engine problems, that cost him any hope of becoming champion today. Harold Goswari, Marcus Ericsson, who also lost, Takuma Sato, Mirko Bortolotti, Fabio Lima, Mick Schumacher, Brendan Hartley and Tatiana Calderon, who were lost on the opening lap of the race. They all failed to finish. Gary Paffett, Alan McNish and Jake Dennis all disqualified for taking out drivers on the circuit during that race, and they are all banned for the non-championship race in Macau. Marcus Ericsson takes the point for the fastest lap, and Pascal Wehrlein takes the point for pole position. It's a day to celebrate for Funmetal. Marcus Ericsson is the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix World Series, joining Will Power on that list. As far as promotion is concerned, you could not have written it. Force India were 28 points behind Pacific coming into the last race, needing an almighty miracle to snatch it from Pacific. And guess what? They've only just gone and done it. Their first 1-2 in the Grand Prix World Series. What a way to get just that. Rafael Marciello taking his first Grand Prix World Series win to end his season on a high. Commiserations to team manager Kevin McMullen of the Pacific squad, who have been in the top 3 of the team's championship all season until the very last race when it all mattered. He'll hope for better luck next season. But today, it's all about Marcus Ericsson, the League 2 Drivers' Champion of the Grand Prix World Series.
Well, what a race that was. What a way to finish off League 2 of Season 3. A fantastic performance by the Force India team to pick up their first 1-2 finish. And it could not have come at a better time, as that has helped Force India to leapfrog Pacific Grand Prix into third place, and they will be promoted alongside Funmetal and Mastercard Loader. Congratulations to Ed Spencer and the team for the season they've put together. And as far as the driver standings is concerned, it was decided early that the championship has gone the way of Marcus Ericsson. It is a 3 points gap between himself and Pascal Wehrlein in the end. Ewan Gale, I'm sure, will be very happy with the season, having taken both the driver's title and the team's title. And Tatiana Calderon, going out of the race very early on there, stood no chance of taking a championship today. But congratulations to them as well, Mastercard Lola team of Calderon and Schumacher, with Marcus Johansson looking forward to League 1 action next season. So the final top 10 for League 2, Marcus Ericsson on 195, Pascal Wehrlein on 192, Tatiana Calderon 172, and Mick Schumacher on 129. Brendan Hartley, the only other driver in triple digits, on 119. Jack Aiken on 89, ahead of Kimi Sato in the Dome on 79. Gary Paffett on 68, ahead of Alexander Rossi on 62. Raffaele Marcello's victory today puts him into the top 10 on 61 points. So congratulations to him for victory in Laguna Seca. And final standings for the teams: Funmetal on 387, Mastercard Lola on 311, Force India on 166, taking that third place away from Pacific. Pacific spent the entire season pretty much in third place and losing it right at the final round. So there'll be disappointment for Kevin McMullen, I'm sure. Domer on 127, Ram Racing on 112, Zach Speed 108, then Scuderia Coloni, LaRousse and Andrea Moda rounding out the top 10. 11th went to Dams Vaillant, 12th for Carlin, and 13th for Real, getting 20 points in the end after a few points scored in that final round. Well, that is League 2 now done and dusted for Season 3. Huge congratulations to all of the victors there. But we now concentrate on the League 1 action, where only the team's title is up for grabs. Scott Dixon has already won the Drivers' Championship. He's there on 194 points. Could he add to that in the season finale and break the 200-point barrier? That'd be a fantastic way to end off the season for him. And Tony Felix da Costa, second on 149, ahead of Nick De Vries on 136. We'll bring you some more news on da Costa in just a moment. Pato Ward is in fourth on 110 points. A perfect race for him today. Could potentially see him nick third place off Nick De Vries but very unlikely for that to happen. Kamui Kobayashi 5th in the manner on 90 ahead of Will Power, Sebastian Buemi, Jose Maria Lopez, Alex Lynn, and Roman Grosjean still rounding out the top 10 there. As far as the team standing is concerned, Minardi on 293 and Simtek on 258. Now this is where things got interesting. Minardi were declared the champions at the last round in San Carlos, but then a disqualification for Antonio Felix da Costa post-race means that they have lost the points that they had to get the championship, and they will now have to do it all over again and make sure that they outscore Simtek by enough to take home the championship in today's race. So it is well and truly between those two, and Simtek will pretty much have to do everything perfectly to overhaul Minardi's score at the moment. And moving on to more about their news about da Costa, he took out Naoki Yamamoto at the last round in San Carlos, and it was determined by the stewards at the time that it was only a 10-second time penalty because they felt that Yamamoto had caused the incident himself. A number of the team managers disagreed, and they appealed the decision, arguing that da Costa took Yamamoto out of the race. It went to a vote between the team managers, and it was agreed that da Costa was to blame, and he was therefore disqualified from the San Carlos Grand Prix. So in his place today will be the reserve driver Jean-Eric Vergne, who returns to the Minardi team, having been on loan at Prost, and Prost will instead field Roman Grosjean, Manor's reserve driver, in a bit of an old switcheroo between the drivers there. And the final driver change of notes to bring you is at the Midland Racing team. Rio Haryanto has been given one last chance to prove himself for a seat for Season 4 in place of Naoki Yamamoto. Alex Johnston doing a little bit of evaluating of his choices for Season 4 here, so we will see how Haryanto gets on today. So a lot of action going on off the track as well as on it. And we're not going to do any more of the admin stuff, just one more thing left to do before we go racing, that is to bring you the grid for today's race. Kamui Kobayashi and Jose Maria Lopez have made this a Manor 1-2 for the season finale. The Manor team really showing some strong speed in the last few races, but yet to get their first win this season. So Sam Hall will be having everything crossed to make sure they can bring home a victory and keep up his record, having scored at least one race win in every season so far. Scott Dixon, our newly crowned two-time champion of the Grand Prix World Series, will line up third ahead of Danny Juncadella in the Arrows, one of his best qualifying performances of the season. Jean-Eric Vergne, on his return to Minardi, will be the lead driver there in fifth place ahead of Will Power in the Leighton House. Luke Browning puts both Simtex into the top 7 ahead of Nick De Vries, Pato Ward, and Roman Grosjean on his return to racing action here for Prost will line up 10th on the grid. A great result by him on his return. Alex Lynn and HRT will be 11th ahead of Sebastian Buemi in the Leighton House. Robin Freins 13th for Super Aguri ahead of Sean Galael and Alex Palou in the BAR and the AGS. Sebastian Bourdais 16th in the Onyx ahead of Felipe Nasr and Helio Castroneves, the two Brazilians sharing a row there. Nicolas Latifi 19th in the BAR and Louis Delatraz 20th in the 40 Corsi. 21st will be Colton Herta in the AGS ahead of Rio Haryanto, Antonio Fuoco, Nick Yellerly, Marco Wittmann and Roy Nassani, those bottom three drivers, all picking up penalties at the last round of San Carlos, and they will all start from the back of the grid today. Oh, we are set for some fantastic racing here. We've already had an incredible League 2 race. Will League 1 live up to the same hype? And who will come away with the team's championship? Will it be Minardi or will it be Simtek? Let's head down to trackside. Tom Cairns for the final time this season. Take it away.
Scott Dixon already crowned Drivers' Champion. There's still a slight hope in the team's championship for Simtek to overhaul Minardi, but they need a miracle to get past them if they were to come away with a double at the end of today. There's also the relegation places to be decided between the likes of Onyx, BAR, Midland, AGS and 40. The 5 highlights are coming on now for one last time in the Grand Prix World Series this season. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a good start for Kamui Kobayashi, the pole sitter. He's got away ahead of his teammate Jose Maria Lopez, but Lopez is trying to fight back and it's a collision and Scott Dixon is out already. So Dixon retires from the race. I don't know who ran into him as they approached the kink, but Dixon, who clinched his first Grand Prix World Series title on this track last season, is not going to make it past turn 1 this season. And ironically enough, it was one of the Minardis that took Scott Dixon out. And before it's even started, Minardi are crowned the team's champions of the Grand Prix World Series. Who ran into Dixon? I think it was Jean-Eric Vergne that ran into Dixon approaching the kink. Now Jean-Eric Vergne, who's in place of the suspended Antonio Felix da Costa ran into his title rival this season, Scott Dixon. And that just pretty much sums up Dixon's... Well, I'll say Dixon's season. That does not sum up Dixon's season. That's his 4th retirement of the campaign, and all of them have been due to crashes. But whatever happens, he is the Grand Prix World Series champion, and Minardi are crowned the team's champions of the Grand Prix World Series. And the result of the collision results in Jean-Luc Vergne being disqualified from the race, and he's given a 1-race ban. So he is out of the non-championship race in Macau. Whether it be for Minardi or Prost, if they get there, he will not take part in that. Kobayashi Lee-san in 2nd place is Daniel Cadea. Next, Jose Maria Lopez, Luke Browning, Nick de Vries, Jean-Luc Vergne, Will Power, Pato Award, Sebastian Buemi, and Romain Grosjean returning in the Prost. Substituting for Jean-Luc Vergne, he's had to fill in for Di Costa at Minardi, is in the final points paying position in 10th. You can do with the fastest lap, but that will come down as the laps continue. Now, Manor haven't won all season. Their last victory in the Grand Prix World Series came on this track with Romain Grosjean. The lead at the moment, Jose Maria Lopez chasing Yuncadea for 2nd place. With the team's championship decided early on, it's all going to come down to who goes down today. Now, Onyx, BAR, AGS, Midland and 40 are all in the running for survival. Onyx and BAR are firm favourites to stay up. And the highest out of all those 5 teams in the order of the field, that would be Sebastian Bourdais, who's running in 12th. So none of them are in, none of those 10 cars from the... Oh, and that's Grosjean going off the track and breaks his front wing as he comes back onto the circuit. And he then takes out another car. In fact, he's been hit from behind. And I think Grosjean's out of it. He's been hit from behind by another car. I don't know who ran into him as he came back onto the circuit, but Grosjean kick-started that. He ran wide, broke his front wing, rejoined so dangerously into the path of another car. He got hit from behind by one of the Midlands. So Grosjean is out of the race. And I think it was Felipe Nasr. If it's Nasr that's run into him, that pretty much spells Midland's hopes of staying up. And Nasr did run into Grosjean, but he's not at fault for that by any means, says the Brazilian. That was Grosjean's fault. Grosjean out after only, well, less than 2 laps really in the Prost. So he won't be repeating his race win of last season when he was a Manor driver. And it pretty much spells Prost's hopes of being on the grid in Macau after this race. And in actual fact, Felipe Nasr has been the one penalised for causing Grosjean to retire. And not only that, he's also disqualified. Well, he's also been given a race ban for Macau, should Midland get there. But that's impossible because it's not mathematically possible for Midland to be on the grid for that. So that's hardly relevant. But Nasr has been disqualified from the race, and that's not a good start for team manager Alex Johnston. And looking at the relegation battle as it is, Onyx came into this one with 59 points. BAR in 10th with 38, AGS 11th with 23, Midland in 12th with 14, and 40 in 13th with 7. Now, it's not mathematically certain that Midland are down yet, but with Nasr being disqualified and Harry so down the order as he is anyway, Midland are on the brink of heading down at the moment with AGS and 40. There's a long way to go yet in this one. If the lead 2 race was anything to go by, tuck in for a brilliant race here in League 1. We see Jean-Luc Vergne losing it a little bit. He's able to stay on the track, and ahead of behind him is the Leighton House of Will Power, who's looking to end his season on a high. What's been a troublesome campaign for him. No win this season. Sebastian Buemi is the one who's picked up the 2 wins as Vergne runs wide, goes for a spin spot. In fact, it's been taken out by Will Power, and Vergne's out. Unbelievable. Vern locked up and ran wide at the corkscrew, and Power couldn't stop the car in time and just ran into the Minardi. He hit him twice, did Power, and he's lost positions. Not good for Minardi there. Now we're watching Vern lock up, and Power just could not stop the car in time and just ran into him. So Vern is out in the Minardi on his return to the team. His last appearance for them was in Yongam in round 2, but it's the end of the road for him here. And also off is Luke Browning at the penultimate turn. It looks like he's done it by himself. We've already lost one Simtek in this race, and Luke Browning looks like he's dropped it all by himself here. No further action is taken in the incident with Vern and Power. It's gone down as a racing incident, but is Luke Browning able to get back onto the circuit? And he should get back on safe and sound here. In fact, no. His race is done. Simtek's race is over. Luke Browning is out. It's the end of the day's work for team manager Scott Woodwis. Less than 4 laps into the race, and both of his drivers are not going to make it into the end. It's all kicking off here at Laguna Seca. Kamui Kobayashi with the fastest up so far, as well as the point for pole position. And Simtek's double non-finish is going to open the door for Manor to overhaul them for second place in the championship. At the moment, with both of the Manors in first and third, that would net them 42 championship points because they've got the points for fast up and pole position at the moment. That would be enough for them to leapfrog Simtek into second in the team's championship. Something that Sam Hull's team have accomplished before in Season 1 with Brendan Hartley and Lucas deGrassi. But there is Kobayashi in the race lead. And looking at where Kobayashi is in the Drivers' Championship as well, 6th coming into this one. If he was to win this race, get pole position and fastest lap, that would give him 27 championship points. He, at the moment, I think would remain in 5th place ahead of Will Power because Pato O'Ward is up there. Just looking to see where O'Ward's position is because he's 20 points ahead of Kobayashi. You can see the 4 retirements so far. Luke Browning, Sean McVern, Romo Grosjean and Scott Dixon all out of the race. O'Ward is in 5th place, so Kobayashi would not move up the order in the Drivers' Championship. But he looks to end his season on a high. Continue his run of scoring a race win in every season of the Grand Prix World Series. There's Daniel Kandaya running in P2 ahead of Kobayashi. Now, Arrows came into this one needing to get 31 championship points at least, or 32 rather, to overhaul 4th place Leighton-House. And with Youngadair in 2nd and O'Ward 5th, that would not be enough. And now we can see Lopez behind Youngadair as they go into combat. Corkscrew they come. I will say that Helio Castroneves is still in the Super Aguri car in place of Paul de Resta. So he's given another go by team manager Michael Gillespie, who are in real need of some points here today. With Speed doing so well in the League 2 event, the only hope is to get 17 championship points, at least in this one, if they are to be on the Macau grid for the non-championship event. It's a setback for the team, really, given that they won the team's title last season. It's going to be a very interesting transfer window, if you like, in terms of who's staying on and who's going to be moving on. The draft will take place after the Carroll round, I think. Just be that one race involving the top 13 highest scoring teams. There's Hideki Neves running in 14th position in the Super Aguri. Sebastian Bourdais, through all the trouble, is running in 9th place, and Sean Guleo is in 10th for BAR. Of course, if anything more happens to the front runners, then that could change things. Four drivers out of the race so far: Luke Browning, Sean Verne, Romain Grosjean and Scott Dixon. The two Grand Prix World Series champions of League One out already. So Daniel Medea holding up Jose Maria Lopez heading into the corkscrew. Jose Maria Lopez still chasing his first win in the Grand Prix World Series. Look at Kobayashi on a track where Mana have gone very well at in the past. Is it going to be 2 seasons in a row where they win at Laguna Seca? Lap number 10 as we watch Sean Guleo behind Sebastian Bourdais. Nick de Vries, who's in the sole survive in Minardi, of which Antonio Felix da Costa was still around to be involved in this, but he is serving a race ban for taking out Naoki Yamamoto in the last race after an appeal had been launched by Giacomo Pagliaro, which the team managers decided that da Costa was firmly at fault for causing the collision and taking out Yamamoto. With a whiff of Naoki Yamamoto, who's been replaced this round by Rio Haryanto. Looking at the team's championship as it stands, Minardi, we already know, have won the team's championship, whatever happens now. Simtek will be, at the moment, finishing 3rd behind Mana. And as the relegation battle is concerned, Onyx and BAR will be remaining in the division. AGS, Midland and 40 will be heading down to League 2. It's still early days in this race. There's Maria Lopez running in 3rd, still behind Yonkandea. Not too far away from pit stops, so Ward runs a little bit wide. A little too hard, but he's able to stay on the circuit. And we go back to the race leader, who starts his 12th lap. Right, P11. In the Super Aguri behind Sean Guleo. Alex Lynn ahead of this lot in 8th. He's running in 19th position. Cross starts at the back of the grid after picking up a back of the grid job for his involvement in the collision with Kazuki Nakajima in San Carlos last time out. was Kobayashi. He retired in the closing stages in Curitiba whilst he was running in second place. Now we watch Sean Galale, who's in the final points pay position in 10th. Good race last time out in San Carlos, cementing VAR's hopes of staying in the division. As we watch Nick Yellerly's holding up Marco Wittmann. Wittmann will be looking for a way through here, but he won't do it here, I don't think. Yellerly's behind Louis Delatraz, who's having another good race so far in the 40. Maybe a little too late for Dave Gollard's squad. There's Will Power, who's behind his teammate Sebastian Buemi in the battle for 6th position. DeFries and O'Warder up ahead. Watch Marco Wittmann, still behind Yellerly. Too far away from the pit stops. Probably come the end of the next lap. As we see Wittmann and Yellerly nearly making contact. That could have been Yellerly on the sidelines there along with Wittmann. As we watch Jochen Deyer locks up into the corkscrew. And Lopez isn't able to get through on this occasion. I think one driver's slipped down the order a little bit is Helio Castroneves, who's running in 14th ahead of Nicholas Latifi. Could be wrong on that. Deyer ahead of Lopez. Will we see a change for position in the near future? It's Lopez. We see a pit stop at AGS. Alex Palou comes in, who was running in 12th place. He'll fall to the back of the field, but at least he'll have some clear air. The undercut has proven very effective on this track. The manner of Lopez stopped behind Jochen Deyer as they go up the hill. Overtaken by Sean Galale, who has moved up into 9th. Behind Bourdais is Robin Fines, who's received a freeze lock up into the last turn. And there's a pit stop ready for Pato O'Ward. I think someone else will be making their way into the pits on this up as well. We'll find out who that is. It might just be O'Ward heading into the pits, you know. There we see Helio Castroneves slowing down, and that pretty much spells the end of Super Aguri's hopes of being on the grid in Macau next time out. Castroneves, who is running reasonably well in the car, is out of the race and he's not going to be scoring points for Super Aguri. Well, what's been a disappointing season for the Brazilian. Been on the sidelines by Leighton-House for so long. Got given another opportunity by Super Aguri, but still encountering those reliability problems. Seca comes in the arrows. We see Yellerly in 14th position ahead of Wittmann. Towards the corkscrew once more. Cairns comes in. As is Harrianto in... Is it Harrianto that's just come in? I think it is, yeah. So Harrianto also in the Midland, as is Nisani. It's also in the AGS. It's a very busy pit lane right now. Don't know for certain when the team runners are going to be coming into pit road. Mr. Freeze in third place. Behind those two are Sebastian Buemi and Will Power. Daya in 9th now after his stop. He will be stopped behind Sebastian Bourdais. Buemi comes in for his first of 2, as is Nick de Vries. That will promote Alex Lynn up the order unless he decides to head to the pits. Freeze rejoins in 8th ahead of Nicholas Latifi. He's got a bit of clear track before he catches up to Felipe Nasser, who at the moment will be excluded from the race result for taking out Roman Grosjean. Lopez running in 2nd behind Kobayashi, who's in the pits at the end of lap 18. I wonder if Will Power will be heading for the pits as well in the Leighton House, as we watch Robin Fines. We'll just be hoping for the season team finish sooner rather than later for the team. Kobayashi rejoins in 2nd behind Jose Maria Lopez. He's ahead of Will Power. That's it in for Midland. There's no way they're going to be surviving at this rate. As Buemi runs wide at the last turn. That might give an opportunity for someone else to... Well, someone to take over the position, but they're too far back. He's clearly locked up into the last turn. Over the curb. And he's able to stay on the track. Froko comes in for Onyx. And there we see Will Power behind Kamui Kobayashi, approaching the left-hander before the corkscrew. And we see Nicholas Latifi exiting the pits behind what looks like Louis Delatraz in the 40. Lopez is now in for Mano. Also entering the pits is Will Power in the Leighton House. There is Marco Vettman getting through on Nicholas Latifi. And there we see Alex Lynn going off the circuit at the last turn, which allows Junken Dea through. Now, is Lynn able to get back onto the circuit? Stuck in the gravel trap there. He's been in there for a long time now. And this is costing him. Nick Yellowly, his teammate, is in the pits. But Lynn is having to wait for the traffic to go through first before he comes back on. He's been in there for a long time. And Lynn rejoins in 21st place. He's the last of those still running. Marco Wittmann getting through on Louis Delatraz. We look at the teams, well, looking at the championship standings as it is, AGS, Midland and 40 will be going down to League 2 next season. Onyx and BAR are doing more than enough at the moment. going to have to hope for a lot of the top runners to drop out of this to stand any chance. That's not happening right now. Kamui Kobayashi 12 seconds in the lead. Daniel Kandaya in second position. He's finished on the podium once this season, which is in Yongam. A bit of a spell on the sidelines. So allow Adrian Quave-Hobbs to have a go. Now we look at Pato Ward, who's had a fairly satisfactory season as well. And there's the TV, who's had a lot of reliability issues in that BAR all season. Up 10 points in this campaign. He's had 2 race bans. And we go back to Yonkadeo, who's under threat from Lopez, is sending one up the inside, and Lopez is finally through on Denny Yonkadeo, and that puts himself up into second place, making it a Manor 1-2. Is a first victory of the season coming in the way of Sam Hall's team at last. And not only that, a 1-2 finish and second place in the team's championship. Latifi also, trying to make a move on what looks like Louis Delachaz, and now he's fallen back into the clutches of Nissani and Yellowly. Lap 23 of the race now. Kobayashi extending the margin. It's 14 seconds between him and Lopez. It's Yunkanteo, De Vries, Power, O'Ward, Buemi, Galeo, Frines and Pelot. The Super Guri of Robin Frines is running in 9th position, hoping to end his season on a high. He's behind. Oh, and that's Alex Pelot, who's been tipped back in the right direction there by what looked like Rio Harrianto. Pelot went for a spin, allowed Bourdais through, and as Anne Wittmann. 40 also trying to get by, as is the BAR. And it was the Midland of Harrianto just tapped him back round, and he was underway again. Don't think any action will be taken on that. So the yellow flags are being worn to the drivers of Minson up ahead. Harrianto slowed the car down in time to only get the slightest of taps on the AGS, and Pelot is back up and running again. And no further action will be taken on that. The arrows of Danny Yonkandea in 3rd place, with De Vries in 4th. And Lopez extending the margin now over Yonkandea. It's 3 seconds. Sonny Froko in 20th place in the Onyx, or 19th rather. ahead of Colton Herter. He's just got through on him now. He kept his car on the inside of the AGS. He was able to get through on that occasion. And that spin for Palou has pretty much ruined all hopes of them staying up. At 25. Kobayashi having no such problems. Will it be him standing on the top step today? And we go to Sebastian Buemi in P7 behind Pato Award. Less than 14 seconds behind is Lopez. He wants to try and close down the gap on his teammate. He's stuck behind every day for so long. It's Delachazy, 13th place ahead of Nicholas Latifi. Force's hopes of staying up are long gone, but to end their season on a high. They picked up their first point in 14 races last time out in San Carlos. With Delachas coming out in 10th place. And you see Nico just trying to slow the car down a little bit. Turn 9 that he went through. Had a little bit of a moment, but he was able to keep going. P2, Inverdea third, it's De Vries and Power. There's Latifi in 14th position. Lopez second for Manor. Look at Sebastian Buemi. He's a little bit too deep into turn 3. Gets away with it. There is Nick De Vries going off in the Minardi. He's done exactly the same thing as he did last season in the BAR. De Vries going off the circuit in the Minardi. He's done exactly what Luke Brown has done. Now, is that him out? Or is he able to continue? That looks like a hard hit into the barrier. Looking at it now. Well, the engine's still running there. And remarkably, well, he's moving the car, but is it beached in the gravel trap? He's trying to get back on now. He's losing so much time and so many places. He gets back on the circuit in P12. Minardi at the moment not scoring any points. So that promotes Will Power, Pato Ward and Sebastian Buemi up places. John Galeo as well. I think Galeo's yet to make his first stop of the race. Look at Ryan Nassoni, who's just ahead of Nick Yellerly. at Robin Francis, moves up to 8th thanks to Jeffries' spin. Bourdais is 9th, and Felipe Nasr, who's carrying a disqualification over him, is in the final points paid position in 10th. So Marco Wittmann would inherit that point, should Nasr's penalty stay as it is. And we look at De Vries, who's running in 12th place right now. Left-hander. And there's an entry problem for Nick Yellerly in the HRT. I want to keep his car out of the way. He might even get it back to the pits if he's lucky enough. But no, the engine has gone completely. The car is on fire. And the Brit needs to pull that HRT off the track very, very quickly. Now, does he take it off sensibly? Does he do it sensibly? He does. He stays out of the way of the race leader as well. And so Yelly retires from the race and pulls off in the same location as where Cashnevers had pulled off earlier. So Yelly can look back on this season. You could well be back for the non-championship race in Macau as well. There's Jacques. Third place. The positions as they are. ATS Midland and Fulton, we're going down, and there's an incident involving the HRT. Was that the manor that ran into him? It's the race leader that ran into the HRT. Well, the HRT went for a move. Did Kobayashi slow down? Oh no, it's Kobayashi's fault completely. That was avoidable there from the Japanese. We'll get an onboard view of what happened there. He ran into what was Alex Lynn. Alex Lynn went for a move on Colton Herter, and Kobayashi just couldn't stop the car in time. So Kobayashi will be hit with a 30-second time penalty, I'd have thought, because Alex Lynn will need to come into the pits to get that rear wing put back on again. It's a 30-second time penalty and a back at the grid drop for the race in Macau. And that changes the race with Kobayashi in the race lead, and now he's going to have to pull out a monstrous gap over Jose Maria Lopez if he's going to win this. And Lynn comes in for a new rear wing, and that is HRT's race pretty much done and dusted. They're still in play to seal their place in Macau. The 13th on the all points stats for this season across the two leagues. Of course, needing 19 points now to overhaul HRT. For Super Aguri, they need 17. Robin Fines is in 8th place right now. He needs a 2nd place finish if he's to have any chance of joining the grid, and that's very, very unlikely. Galeo running in 7th place, doing more than enough for BAR to maintain their place in League 1 next season. Sebastian Bourdais likewise in the Onyx. Just to remind you that the Teams Championship had been decided at the very beginning of this one, with Scott Dixon being taken out by Jean-Eric Verne. Now we look at Roy Nissani. He locks up in the 40. Over the 40 still going at the moment in 13th and 15th. As Felipe Nasser locking up at the last turn in front of Marco Wittmann. And we see an engine problem further up ahead, and it's Robin Fries in the Super Aguri. He'll be joining his teammate on the sidelines, and Super Aguri are out of the running for the season, for the non-championship race in Macau. And Michael Gillespie's first season as Super Aguri manager is going to end in disappointment. Kobayashi into the pits for Mana. Will he get out in front of Yunkandeo, I wonder? You can see Bourdais, Nasser, Wittmann and De Vries going through. Fines pulls off and he is out of the race. What a miserable season it's been for Super Aguri. Huge step back. A huge step back from last season. Will Power came into the pits for Leighton House. He'll stay in the points once he rejoins the chase. He'll rejoin in 7th place, no problem. So Frines joins Yellowly, Castro Neves, Browning, Verne, Grosjean and Dixon on the sidelines. 19 still running. Alex Lynn running in 19th and last place, having to come in for a new rear wing. In the race lead now. He has a pit stop still to do. Kobayashi rejoin ahead of Yunkandeo in 2nd place. No World coming into the pits for Arrows. Locking up ahead of Galeo. He's having one of the races of his career so far. Wittmann entering the pits for Prost. See the Leighton House of Wendy locking up on the layout, keeping hold of his 4th place. Now Leighton House haven't finished on the podium since the Istanbul Grand Prix, where Will Power finished 2nd. Nasser entering the pits for Midland. De Vries doing the same for Minardi. Entering the pits also in the AGS. You see, oh, that's the Manipula, that's Kobayashi out! Kobayashi retires from the race! I don't know what caused the failure there for the Japanese, but Kobayashi has pulled off with a mechanical problem. He is out of the League 1 Laguna Seca Grand Prix, and Lopez can have an easy run to victory from here now. The 30-second time penalty is no longer relevant. Kobayashi is not going to end his season, and Buemi's pulled off as well. He must have encountered a problem of his own. He has done. So that allows Galeo through. He'll go up into 3rd place, will Sean Galeo in the BAR. Bramy pulls off with front suspension failure. More problems for the Leighton House team. So 2 of the front runners out of the race. Kobayashi and Buemi. So that moves Power up to 4th. Bourdais will go up into 5th. O'Ward will move up as well. Delachaz will move up at the moment into 7th place in the 40. We haven't said that for a long time. Latifi, Nazani and Harrianto will also move up. And with 24 laps to go, who knows what can happen from here on in. Nazani enters the pits for 40, as does Harrianto. Nazar at the moment will be excluded from the race result for taking out Roman Grosjean. Harrianto holding up what looks like Junkin Daya there, who won't be too pleased with this. Galeo picks him from 3rd place in the BAR. What a race he has had today. He'll probably come out in front of Delachaz in 6th. And now we look at the battle for 4th place between Bourdais and O'Ward. I'd expect Bourdais to be in the pits again before this race is over, but he's having a good time of it. He's finished on the podium in Brands Hatch this season, remember? And there's a collision between the AGS and the HRT, and Palou has been taken off by Alex Lynn. The two Alexes coming together. So Lynn, yeah, he's just punted below off the circuit there. And that's not going to please team manager Lewis Passendale of the AGS squad. Now, does Palou rejoin the race, or is that him done for the day? Well, I can say that Lopez is into the pits for his final stop. And Palou, does he get back onto the circuit? He's having to wait for the traffic to come through. He's back on now in 17th place. And AGS's slim hopes of staying up are pretty much dashed. And the punishment for Lynn is a 10-second time penalty and the back of the grid job for the non-championship race in Macau should HRT get there. And not too long after the incident, Lynn looks like he was carrying a problem, but that was just him going too deep into turn 3. Junkin Daya came into the pits for your information. Bourdais in now as well. Bourdais will rejoin ahead of Delachaz. And Latifi, who have also come into the pits. Froko and Wittmann will go up, as will Nasser. Now Wittmann is in a battle with Froko for 6th place. So, in actual fact, Bourdais dropped down to 10th after his last stop. Now, Marco Wittmann started the race from 25th on the grid. He's found his way up into P7. Brilliant drive there from the German. He's up the inside of Froko, and Wittmann goes up into the top 6 now. A fine effort from the Prost driver. It'll be a little too late for them to get onto the grid for Macau, but could see them leapfrog Super Aguri into 7th place in the Teams Championship in League 1. Now we see Delachaz fighting it out with Harrianto. In the Midland there, and that's Harrianto going for a spin, nearly taking out Lopez whilst he was at it. So that ruins Midland's hopes of getting anything out of this race. There he is going for a spin right in front of the HRT of Alex Lynn and the manner of Jose Maria Lopez, who's a lap ahead. He just needs to be careful. He gets back onto the circuit safely and not into the path of another driver. Bouncing across. That was what Brendan Hartley did earlier. And he's hit the barrier there, and that's a dangerous spot for Harry Anton to be parking there. Does he get back on safely? He's reversing almost in the wrong direction. Ward getting through. Sean Galea will go through as well. He's pretty much stuck there, is Harry Anso. It wouldn't be at all surprised if the marshals pulled him away, because he's in a very dangerous spot there, is the Indonesian. Stop there is Harry Anso. It's like on the... It's almost beached on the top of the hill of the corkscrew. He really needs to get back points in the right direction. He's the middle driver. Now he's coming back on. He's hit the barrier. Now this is very dangerous. He's pointing the right way now, but he's lost so much time. And he's 2 laps down on the leader. He's Harry Anso. That just pretty much sums up Alex Johnston's season as the Midland boss. And we look at the team's championship, and HS, Midland and Faulty will be heading for the League One trapdoor. They will be relegated as it stands. BAR having one of the best races of the season. Sean Galea up in a brilliant 5th place and chasing after Pato Ward. Lopez in the lead. 14 seconds clear over 2nd place. Danny Yunkandea. Willpower 3rd in the Leighton House. Then it's Pato Ward making it 2 arrows in the top 4. 30 points coming in the way of Topher Smith's team. If the positions were to remain as they are, it would not be enough for Arrows to leapfrog Leighton House, because Willpower is running in 3rd place. If the Leighton House was to drop out, Arrows, well, I say they would still miss out. O'Ward would move in front of Willpower, and that would be enough for Arrows to leapfrog Leighton House into 4th place in the team's championship. There is Antonio Froco in the Onyx, being lapped by Jose Maria Lopez, who is 18 laps away from sealing his first Grand Prix World Series victory. It feels overdue, but his time was going to come eventually. And today could well be the day that changes it for him. And for team boss Sam Hull. Felipe Nasser, as it stands, will lose his 7th place, which will allow Nick de Vries, Sebastian Bourdais and Roy Nassani to move up into the points, as will Nicholas Latifi. It's a memorable day for Will Knight's team, who will survive along with Onyx. De Vries is behind Nasser in the battle for 7th place as we watch Roy Nassani in a little too deep into turn 3 ahead of Nicholas Latifi. Scott Dixon already crowned Drivers' Champion, Minardi crowned Teams Champions. It's impossible for Manor to leapfrog Simtech into 2nd place in the Teams Championship. So Manor will at the moment be finishing 3rd ahead of Leighton House and Arrows. Arrows have tasted victory on 2 occasions. Dijon Burgoyne and Hockenheim with Pato Award. Yunkandea running in 2nd place in this one. He had a brilliant time of it on this track last season when he was a Minardi driver. Needham good haul of points to seal Minardi's place in League One next season, and he managed to do that. And we see De Vries and Nasser go off. In fact, De Vries has lost his front wing. Now, did he go in too deep? He went side by side with the Midland, going into turn number 5. At the inside goes De Vries, went way too deep, and he got it all horribly wrong. In fact, the wheels come off, and he's out of it, is De Vries. Both Minardi's out, and it's not the first time this season I've said that. De Vries goes no further, so neither Minardi or Simtek are going to be scoring in the season finale. That promotes Bourdais up to 8th, Nissani to 9th, Latifi and Delachaz 40 all of a sudden could end up with both of their cars in the points today. They did that in the season opener in Sepang. It's been a disastrous season for them. They know they're going to be in League 2 next season, but we didn't expect them to see both cars potentially finishing in the points, with Nissani potentially going to be in 8th and Delachaz in 10th. Lopez putting a lap on Delachaz now. Delachaz is not making it easy though for Lopez to get through. Lopez will have a bit of a stern word with him afterwards, I'd have thought. We're right on board with Will Power in 3rd place, chasing his first podium since Istanbul. Galeo running in a brilliant 5th place for BAR. Latifi with Naz's penalty. That would be a disqualification. Latifi will go up into 9th place. It'll be, well, it's definitely more than enough for BAR to keep their place on the grid, the League One grid for next season. 15 laps to go into the last quarter of this race. And there's an off. There's a yellow flag out. And Yukade's off the track! He's had a spin as the RS driver. He's lost 2nd place to Will Power. What a shame. For Yunkadeo, who's had the race of his season and he's thrown it all away. His teammate O'Ward goes through. Galeo will go through. Yunkadeo gets back on the track and rejoins in 5th. Has he broken his front wing? I'm just looking on the left-hand side there. It looks like his front wing's broken as well. So he will need to come back into the pits for a new nose section. And he'll probably fall out of the points. Not good there for Yunkadeo. Not what he needed at this moment in time. The team manager's thinking about who they're going to be signing for next season. Yunkadeo has done himself no favours with a mistake like that. Power locking up at the Andretti hairpin. And he's up into 2nd place now. O'Ward 3rd and Galeo in 4th place. You couldn't have written it, could you? And there's still time left in the race for things to change. This is the Grand Prix World Series. Not as you know it. And you can't take your eyes off it. O'Ward into a podium place then. So far this season, O'Ward in 4th place in the championship, has been on the podium only 3 times, 2 of which being race wins. But he's put on a fair run of consistency. So it'll be podium number 4. It will not be enough for him to get through on De Vries. He needed a maximum to get ahead of De Vries. That's O'Ward, but he'll be fairly happy with this season. With Lopez in the race lead, he'll get the 25 championship points. He'll go on to 97 points, and he'll overtake Jose Maria Lopez, Sebastian Boemi for 7th place. Will Power at the moment in 6th place would leapfrog Kamui Kobayashi into 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. As the laps tick down, I may as well go through the Season 4 calendar. Shaping up to be one of the best seasons in the Grand Prix World Series history. We begin in Jaraguá, Brazil, before we go to Buenos Aires, Argentina. And it's off to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the USA. Toronto in Canada follows, followed by Montjuic Park in Spain, for round 5. Round 6 will be in Dijon-Bourgogne in France. Mugello in Italy will be the host for round 7. Nürburgring in Germany is next, followed by the mid-season test. As we watch Lopez putting a lap on Nicholas Latifi into the Andretti hairpin. Into the second half of the season, it's Istanbul Park in Turkey, Parnu in Estonia for round 10, it's Anderstorp in Sweden, Zhuhai in China, Ortopolis Japan, Yongan South Korea, Sepang Malaysia for the penultimate round, and the season finale will be at a new destination at Service Paradise, Australia. It will also be the Macau non-championship round to come up after that as well. Back to the action. Lopez leads by over 20 seconds on willpower. Now Sean Galale, who's running in 4th place, has finished 4th before the season opener in Sepang. So at least he can say that he'll end the season as he had started it. Although perhaps his season hadn't gone the way he had hoped, given that BAR won both the Drivers' and Teams' Championships in Season 1. And there's an off there for Rio Haryanto. It's not the first time he's had a moment like that today. It's not a spin this time, it's just a luck up. Should get back on the track, no problem. He's not been hit by anyone. We just want this race to be over. .11 laps remaining. Lopez leads, Power second, Oward, Galale, Wittmann, who's running in 5th. Nasser, at the moment, will be excluded from the race result for taking out Romain Grosjean. Team manager Alex Johnston does have the right to appeal that, though. Sebastian Bourdais, Daniel Cadea, Ryan Nissany, Nicholas Latifi running in the points. And taking the last point, should Nasser's penalty stand, is Louis Delatraz for the 2nd race in a row. AGS not going to be scoring any points as it stands. In fact, out of the bottom 5 teams coming into today, AGS are going to be the only team not scoring any points, although Midland won't be scoring with Nasser with his disqualification, but should that get overturned, 4 out of the bottom 5 teams would score points. You see Alex Palou locking up into the corkscrew, getting away with it. And there is the update on the table involving the bottom 3 teams. AGS, Midland and 40 will be racing in League 2 next season. Onyx and VAR will be continuing on in League 1 in the next campaign. Well, I have to say, Sean Galale has been piling on the pressure on Pato Award over the last number of laps or so. 10 laps to go, you never know what can happen from here on in. VAR have not achieved a podium all season. To go all the way back to Buenos Aires Season 2. I think it was Nick de Vries that finished on the podium that day, or Sebastian Buemi. It was one of the two. I can find that out for you. It was Sebastian Buemi on that occasion in the BAR. BAR have not tasted a podium all season. What a day to get one to celebrate survival. Has been a season to forget for them, but it'll be nice for team manager Will Knight to pick up something for his efforts. Nine laps remaining. Lopez leads, Power second, it's O'Ward, Galale, Wittmann, Nasser, who's running in 6th on track, Bourdais, Yunkadea, who's in 8th place, ahead of Nissany and Latifi. Yunkadea will be making his way through the field on the fresher tyres as well, so I doubt it'll be too long before he gets through on Bourdais. Lopez isn't too far away from lapping him. Hello. Making his way through there as Nasser and Bourdais are nose to tail. on his way to his first Grand Prix World Series win. And I'd say one driver is not going to make it into the checkered flag because it's Sebastian Bourdais in the Onyx. At least they're well and truly safe from relegation, but it would have been nice for Bourdais to get to the end and score some points. His race is over. At least that moves Roy Nassani, Nicholas Latifi and Louis Delatraz up into the points on track. And with Alex Lin's time penalty, that should promote Antonio Froco up into the points as well, should Naz's disqualification stand. Lopez continues to lead. That's 3 races at Laguna Seca and 3 non-finishes for Sebastian Bourdais. You can see. It looks like, is that Daniel Candeo chasing after Nasa? I think it must be. Behind Candeo. Well, I might be wrong actually. No, it's Pato O'Ward. Because he's got Sean Galeo right behind him. And O'Ward's place on the podium is far from secure. Candeo is now behind Naza, and I don't think it's going to be too long before we see a change for position involving these two. Will Power in the Leighton House in second place. We ride on board with Candeo, who thought about going for it on NASA but had to back out of it. Not too long before the race leader Jose Maria Lopez comes up to lap them. Candeo line up Naza for a pass now, and Candeo gets through into 6th place. Further ahead, O'Ward still ahead of Galeo, but Galeo closing in all the time. This is a really fine effort from Sean Galeo today. Sean Galeo started 14th on the grid to get himself up into 4th place. He has to be one of the drivers of the day. And Marco Wittmann as well, to go up from 25th to 5th in the Prost. As we see Felipe Naza lock up, go into the gravel, and he's probably going to lose. Well, he's going to fall behind Lopez, gets back on the circuit, a lap down, but he keeps hold of his 7th place ahead of Nassani, Latifi and Delatraz. Jose Maria Lopez 5 laps away from victory. He does not want to throw this away now. Mano are about to celebrate their first and only victory of the season. It'll be a first for Jose Maria Lopez. A long time coming, but I'm sure it'll be worth the wait. 9 podiums to his name in his Grand Prix World Series career. About to make it 10 today, but more importantly, it's the race-winning champagne he's going to be tasting for the first time. Delatraz locks up in front of Alex Lin. Now Lin does have that penalty hanging over him. 10 seconds it is. He'll be serving, so if he wants to be finishing the points, he needs to get by Delatraz rather quickly. And O'Ward is now stuck behind the Midland of Rio Haryanto, who's 2 laps down on him. As we watch Felipe Naza is running in 7th place ahead of Roy Nassani. Well, Midland may be going down today, as will 40 and AGS, but at least the likes of those two teams have put on a good show today for the fans, when you least expected them to. But it's too little too late in the grand scheme of things. So he held up O'Ward for so long, he's now holding up Galeo. I don't think that's going to please the stewards too much. He carries on like that. And Jose Maria Lopez is 3 laps away from victory here at Laguna Seca. It was a 5th place finish when he was a Eurobron driver on this track last season. It's going to be the race win this time around as a Manor driver. I can imagine this is going to give Sam Hole something to worry about in terms of who he's going to be choosing for his driver pairing for season 4. O'Ward still in 3rd place ahead of Galeo. And Wittmann is only 4 seconds clear of Danny Yonkandea. Just over 3 laps to go for them. Wittmann cannot afford to back off too much at the moment. What a job he has done today. If only Grosjean stayed in the race, Prost would have had more of a chance to be within a shout of being on the grid in the non-championship race. But they've had a good recovery this season of Prost after a slow start with only 12 points on the board in the first 6 races. Since then, they're going to be coming away with 80 points in the last 10. Cementing their place in League 1 next season, leapfrogging Super Aguri into 7th place in the Team's Championship. Whilst Colton Herter and AGS will be thinking about what to do for season 4 as a League 2 team. Lopez 25 seconds clear over 2nd place Will Power. So it's penultimate lap. Yonkandea is running about 3 seconds behind Marco Wittmann. Now we watch Froco in the Onyx, locking up at the corkscrew but keeping his Onyx on the circuit. And Alex Lynn is ahead of Louis Delatraz into 10th place. Jose Maria Lopez has now started the final lap in the Manor. He had some fortune go his way, with Kobayashi picking up that penalty for running into Alex Lynn. That took off Lynn's rear wing. And also pulling off with mechanical gremlins. Lopez took the lead and ran. His time was going to come at some point. It was a matter of when. Today, at the last round of the season of the Grand Prix World Series, it's come on this legendary, fans' favourite Laguna Seca circuit. And it's going to be a first victory of the season for Sam Hole as well. Jose Maria Lopez exits the last corner, crosses over the line to win the League 1 Laguna Seca Grand Prix at the season finale. Minardi are crowned teams champions. I'm just waiting for all the cars to come through as well. I think Roy Nassani's picked up an issue on the last lap. He's out on the last lap, it's Nassani. In fact, he's had a spin. And that throws away what was 8th place, or in fact 7th for Roy Nassani. That's disastrous there for Dave Gollard's team. That pretty much sums up their season. In case the drama hadn't already ended, we had some there. Will Power, after what's been a troublesome season for Leighton House, they get a podium finish courtesy of him. And it should be Pato O'Ward holding off Sean Galale for that final podium spot. Nissani tries to get back on the circuit. He'll rejoin in 14th place. O'Ward 3rd, Galale 4th, and it should be Marco Wittmann holding off Danny Yonkandea for 5th place. For AGS, Midland and 40, their time in League One comes to an end. They are going down to League Two. But it's victory for Jose Maria Lopez and for Mana, their first win of the season, leaving the best until last. Will Power second for Leighton House, head of Pato Award, Sean Galeo in a brilliant fourth place for BAR. They remain in League One next season. Marco Wittmann in fifth after starting at the back of the grid. Daniel Gudea in sixth. Nicholas Latifi seventh, head of Louis Delatrice, his best result so far, ahead of Alex Lynn and Antonio Franco, taking the final point in the Onyx. They will also stay in League One next season. Colton Herter in 11th, ahead of Alex Below. Then it's Ryan Sani in 13th, with Rio Harrianto, the last of the finishes, in 14th. Sebastian Bourdais retiring, as did Nick De Vries. Kamui Kobayashi we lost with gearbox issues. Sebastian Buemi, Robin Frines, Nick Yellowly, who is another one of those who we lost with engine trouble. Hilo Castroneves, Luke Browning, Roman Grosjean, who crashed out. Scott Dixon likewise. Felipe Nasser and Sean McVern excluded from the race results and are both out of the non-championship race in Macau. Kamui Kobayashi got the points for pole position and for fastest lap. The team's championship had been decided right at the very beginning when Scott Dixon got taken out by Jean-Eric Verne in the Minardi. That seals the team's championship for Minardi, their first in the Grand Prix World Series. Scott Dixon crowned Drivers' Champion as well. In contrast, for Lewis Bastondale, Alex Johnston and Dave Goddard, their teams will be racing in League 2 next season. AGS, Midland and 40, they are all relegated. Onyx and BAR remain in League 1 next season. It's time to run down on the final championship standings in League 1. And I'll see you for the non-championship race in Macau. What a season. Congratulations to Scott Dixon. Congratulations to the team boss, Scott Woodwis, celebrating another championship. For Giacomo Pagliaro, it's his first championship glory as the Minardi team boss. And commiserations to Lewis Bastondale, Alex Johnson and Dave Goddard. It's been a very hard season, but they will be racing in League 2 next season.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Season 3 of the Grand Prix World Series is fully in the books. And a huge congratulations to Jose Maria Lopez for finally taking his maiden Grand Prix World Series victory today. That is Mana's first of the season, so congratulations to Sam Hall there as well. And as far as the championships are concerned, Scott Dixon, as we already knew, has come away with his second Grand Prix World Series crown in successive seasons. A big congratulations to Scott Woodwis and the team there. He ends the season on 194 points, DeCosta on 149, De Vries on 136, Pato Award on 125, and Will Power on 101 in the Leighton House. Jose Maria Lopez, with that victory today, ends up as the lead of Mana, having only done half of the season. He ends the campaign on 97 points, 5 ahead of Kamui Kobayashi. Sebastian Buemi, Alex Lynn and Daniel Gudea all round out the top 10. And in the team standings, a huge congratulations to Minardi for taking the Grand Prix World Series League 1 Teams Championship. It was decided very early on in the race with Scott Dixon being taken out even before reaching the first corner. But as it stands, Minardi is the champion of the Grand Prix World Series. Huge congratulations to Giacomo Pagliaro, and we will see them back next season trying to defend their crown. So Minardi ends on 293, Simtek on 258, Mana third on 249, having bypassed Leighton House on 216. Arrows end the season in fifth ahead of HRT, Prost seventh on 92. Super Aguri, the outgoing team's champion, is 8th on 84 points. Onyx Grand Prix on 60 and BAR on 56, rounding out the top 10 and surviving the drop zone. It is now confirmed that being relegated down to League 2 for Season 4 will be AGS, Midland Racing and 40 Corsi, and they will be doing everything they can to get themselves back up to League 1 in time for Season 5. Well, what a season of action it has been. So much drama, so much action, so much controversy as well. And Season 4 is set to be even bigger and better. The driver criteria is being opened up to allow drivers who have not tested Formula 1 machinery before. So we're expecting to see a very different grid for next season, and it could bring us closer and more thrilling action. We can't wait to have you on board for that. A huge thank you to Tom Cairns for all of his efforts in the commentary box this season, and we will be back for Season 4 of the Grand Prix World Series in due course. Until then, thank you very much for tuning in. I've been Topher Smith, and take care.